and welcome to 60 Minutes of Holy. Today we have a special guest joining us. Please welcome Pope Urban II.
Hello and God bless, Jill, and everyone who's watching at home.
Thank you for joining us today, Pope Urban II.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, you look a little different today.
I shaved
Oh,
for this occasion,
must be it.
and that's it.
Well, as ruler to end of the 11th century, how do you feel you helped in the development of politics through your reign? What's your greatest achievement?
Good question. Well, following the acts of Gregory VII, I assisted in the solemnification rewards assembled by the papacy. I've developed a central governing constitution for the church, and most of all, making the papacy a fierce place in Europe. I wanted to make the papacy equivalent to the early monarchies, or even the kingdoms of the continent equal. And I believe that's what I did. As far as my greatest achievement, as of now, I think I would have to be the connection that I would have with the crusade.
Well, you spoke at the meeting of church leaders in Claremont in France. What did you argue?
Well, I wanted the crowd to circulate the theory of the crusade, opposed by the Arab and Turkish Muslims, the believers in Islam and the Prophet Muhammad, who occupied the city of Jerusalem, brought to me a census, which made me call the crusade. Bless you, my child.
Thank you. Moving on to questions about your life, what was it like growing up in French nobility?
I grew up in Rennes, that is right in the province of Champagne. I'm the second son, so it was assumed that I would be involved in the church because the firstborn would get the land. I studied at the Cathedral School of Rennes. There, I learned the minimal skills needed for this career. Actually, I rose to the top and got a senior status in the church. At 28, I left Rennes and to become a monk.
What did you do as assistant to Gregory VII?
Basically, what I did was represent him on an expedition to Germany and France. I had been in touch with the Byzantine Emperor at the start of my pontificate career, with the goal of improving the churches. We would go there and work to strengthen the lands of the church. I wanted to make sure those bishops who were not only loyal to Gregory VII, but also agreed the plans of a bigger papacy which were promoted. In fact, by doing this, I was rewarded with a promotion. I became a cardinal bishop. I was not afraid to act against the emperor, and I showed that too.
You called to a war of liberation. Why?
I wanted this war because I wanted there to be a wage done by volunteers that pledged to a brawl as an act of penance. The point I wanted to make was that the authority of the king wasn't being used. I had two major goals of this war. The first one being to free the Eastern churches, mostly Jerusalem. I wanted to do this so that they were free from savagery and the cruelty that would come from the Muslims. The second one was the freedom of Jerusalem, as well as the other holy places.
We heard that Alexis sent you a message. What did he say?
He sent me a message inquiring that I assist him fight the Seljuks, that they were gnawing away at the eastern part of the Byzantine Empire, preparing to capture Jerusalem. I considered his request at a meeting that I attended in Piacenza. But after that, the Council of Claremont and I had made a critical petition for help, the Christians in the East.
During the excommunication of France's King Philip I, it is said that you gave a speech. What happened at this time?
Yes, there was a council. Here I reminded the world that the Pope and the papacy have ultimate power over the church. My most important speech was actually said at this time. I announced the need of the holy war against the non-Christians. I made it clear to the Christians that there was a duty to make the way to the Holy Land and fight for the name of God.
Why did you call the Crusades at this time?
Knowing what was going to be going on in the Islamic world, they just lost one of their strongest leaders. In fact, most political leaders were dying. During this time, the Islams were divided into two groups, the Shiites and the Sunnis. Shortly after the construction of these groups, their leaders had passed as well. Because of the passing of the Islamic world was in major chaos. So for me to wait until they were strong again would not have made sense, because then I would jeopardize the Christians even more.
What was the procedure you took after the call of the Crusades?
I appointed a leader to take control of the formation of the army. I realized that I excluded Henry IV from the preparation for the war. He was traveling, preaching the need for the crusade. Finally, by 1096, a crusader army was formed and headed out to the Holy Land. During the journey that my crusaders took, I held several councils between 1098 and 1099. When the army reached the Holy Land, they captured Nicaea and Antioch. The big day they took Jerusalem was on July 15th, 1099.
It was a pleasure having you.
It was a pleasure to sit by you for the last hour.
Well, join us next week when we have a special guest named Tancred.
Oh, Jill, before I leave, I forgot. I didn't buy you anything for your birthday.
Oh, that's all right. Well, bye. You